Our soup is the wrong color. Our soup.
Yeah, tomato paste here. So.
Yeah, but it still shouldn't be green.
Oh.
And this might be a video on how to not make harira.
We may have made the world's first green harira. Hey everyone, so we have all these ingredients. We're actually going to make a harira, which is a traditional Moroccan soup, often eaten during Ramadan, which is what's happening right now. In honor of that, in honor of some of our Moroccan friends that have actually requested we make something else, we're going to make a harira today. I'll kind of explain some of the ingredients that are involved here. You have vermicelli, lentil beans, you have garbanzo beans or chickpeas here, olive oil, tomatoes, onions, cilantro, parsley, and then some seasonings to kind of tie it all together. One very, very important seasoning that we should talk about is a paprika. So this is 100 grams of paprika. This cost, I think it was about 5.5 dirham here, which is about 55 cents at home. This amount, this quantity at home may have cost about 10 times the price of that. So really incredible value. Same thing with the cilantro and the parsley. These were each about 3.5 dirham here, which is about 35 cents for the equivalent at home as far as the price goes. And you can see the size of this bundle of cilantro here. In the United States, you would actually never buy a bundle this size. Usually it'd probably be about 1/10 of the size here. It would cost you 3 times the price of this. So I mentioned that this was 3.5 dirham. It would actually cost more like 10 dirham at home for about 1/10 of the amount. So you're getting a really, really good value here. So all in all, we estimate that this dish is going to cost the equivalent of about $4 at home or 40 dirham here. Whereas at home in the United States, it would easily cost 2 times, even 4 times the price of that to make all of this once it's all said and done. So we're gonna get into it. We hope you guys enjoy the video. Please stick around to the end. You can see the end result. So onward. Crisscrossing.
So crossing the tomatoes like this helps you peel them after you boil them. So I'll be able to boil the tomatoes, and then when I pull them out of the boiling water, I'll be able to very easily peel the skin off the tomato.
That makes sense.
So the recipe that we're following says to use a food processor, but we don't have a food processor in this apartment, so I am our food processor. But I'm just trying to chop up the parsley and the cilantro very finely, since we can't blend it so that there aren't really big chunks in our soup. And there's a lot of it. I think I pulled off too much of the herbs, but we both really like cilantro and we really like parsley, so our soup might be a little bit extra herbaceous. The recipe also called for the garlic and the onions to be blended through a food processor, but again, we don't have one. So just to make sure that we get everything smooth and fine enough, I'm going to use a grater to grate the garlic and the onions instead of trying to chop it into teeny tiny pieces. I may need to go back through and re-chop some of this, but this should be an easier way to give us little baby pieces. Ah! It was a runaway. We're not sad. Well, we're a little sad that we can't leave the apartment for a few more weeks. We understand why. And we're okay with it. But that's not why we're crying. We're crying because of this. These onions always make both of us cry. But we get it. We understand that it's for the health of everybody that's here and probably everywhere around the world, really, that everybody stays inside until we can be as healthy as possible and it's as safe as possible for everyone to go out. But we are a little bit bummed because we're excited to hopefully get out and see more of, at least Rabat, if not more of Morocco sometime soon. This may not have been my best idea.
Onion and garlic puree. If you have a food processor, use it. If you don't have a food processor, go get one and use it.
So we've got 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and we're gonna heat this up. We found some of the best olive oil here in Morocco. Obviously we've already gone through most of this, but it's really good. It's not very expensive. I think this was the equivalent of $5, so maybe about 50 or 60 dirhams. At home, this much olive oil and this quality would probably be what, I mean, $15, maybe $20. So it would be much more expensive at home. So we're definitely taking advantage of it here. So these are our onions and garlic. That actually smells really good.
It does.
So the next step is to add the pureed tomatoes. Now we don't have a blender, we don't have a food processor, so we're gonna try to just push the tomatoes through the sieve and see how that works. And if this doesn't work, then we're back to the blender. That didn't work. It's okay. So now we're grating our tomatoes because it didn't work to push them through the sieve. So if you're gonna do this, just be really careful with your fingers because tomatoes are obviously very slippery. And the grater is really sharp, so you don't want to grate your finger. Your finger would not be very good in the soup. I still want to put it back through the sieve for the colander to strain out some of the seeds, because we don't want the seeds in there. You know, I really thought this would be a lot easier than it is. I thought making soup, super easy, no problem. Who needs a food processor? Who needs a blender? Nobody needs a blender. Our soup is the wrong color.
Yeah, tomato paste here. So.
Yeah, but it still shouldn't be green.
Oh.
So now it is time to add spices to our green soup. We don't have exact measures, so we're using our silverware, but we're trying to get about a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of pepper, a tablespoon of turmeric, a tablespoon of paprika, which will hopefully turn our soup red. It smells good.
Redder. Hopefully this will turn it red.
Ooh, 6 ounces of tomato paste. How much is that?
6 ounces. Oh.
How much is that?
I don't know. 140 grams.
Oh, how many? Wait. So how many grams are in an ounce?
I don't know.
This is 140 grams of tomato paste. We're not sure how many grams are in an ounce, but we need 6 ounces of tomato paste. And also our soup is not very red, so we're just gonna put all of it in and hope that it was right. Maybe we should start with half. We're just gonna put half of it in, and then we're gonna look up how many grams are in an ounce.
We'll do that after we put it in.
How many grams in an ounce? 1 ounce is 28.35 grams. So 30 times 6. I think we need all of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe that's enough water.
Yeah.
Hey, it looks red.
Yay!
That's probably what it's supposed to look like.
So now that our red soup is boiling, it's time to add the lentils. So these lentils have been sorted and soaked. And then we'll also add the chickpeas, which have also been just pre-boiled because I forgot to soak them overnight. So they've already been half cooked so that they'll finish cooking in the soup. And then we'll cover this and we're gonna let it cook for about 25 minutes or until the lentils and the chickpeas are soft. This recipe that we're using is a recipe by Moroccan Mama. She's a food blogger and a blogger about Morocco, and she lives in Marrakesh. We really like Moroccan Mama. We read a lot of her articles and wanted to use her recipe in making this today. So we'll make sure that we put the recipe in the link, but this is where we are at this step, and we're gonna let this hang out here for probably about 25 minutes. So it's been just about 25 minutes, and this is what our soup looks like. And the beans are just cooked through, and our soup is still nice and red. So at this point, all we have to do is add this pasta. This is about a half a cup of vermicelli pasta, and then we'll let everything cook for another 15 minutes or so. It's been a little over 15 minutes, so our soup is ready to go. We just have one last step. The recipe that we used called for a couple of tablespoons of cornstarch, but we couldn't find cornstarch. We didn't see it at the grocery store, so we're just using flour instead. At home, we call this a slurry, but it's just flour mixed with water. So we will pour that in, and then our soup will get nice and thick, and our harira will be done.
Splash of lemon, stir it in. Oh my gosh, it looks good. Yeah, that's really good. I like the texture of the lentils and the pasta. It has a little bit of a tang, not just because of the orange, but I think just because of the cilantro. It's good. I like it a lot. Nice job, sweetie.
Look what we did. We made a harira, and it looks like it's supposed to. It's red. We got everything in there. We're pretty proud of ourselves. It was a little bit harder than we thought it was going to be, but we're happy with the end result.
Yes, really tasty. As you saw, Becky did most of the cooking. Thanks to her, credit's all hers. I did most of the filming, so that's that. But, thanks so much for watching. We really appreciate you guys keeping up with us. We're gonna continue making videos. We hope you stick around. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing if you like our videos. And if you want to keep updated when we do post something new, just hit the bell icon and you'll get notifications. Thanks so much.
Bye. It's harira. Harira.
Harira. Harira.
Harira.
Yeah, I think it's harira.
Harira.
Please correct us if we're wrong.
Let me start over.
Yeah.
Need another wipe?
Yes. That's not getting it. You have to get it under.
Uh-oh.
Oh no!
Go. I don't think, did you press it all the way? So another thing is this parsley.
Cilantro.